July 2002, the world's press gathers in New York to witness the most extraordinary auction of the new millennium. Just one item is for sale, a $20 gold coin. Missing for decades, this 1933 double eagle is about to become the most valuable piece of metal on the planet.
This has to be the most interesting case I've worked on, just because the story, the facts behind it are so rich.
One of those desperate to own the coin is a mysterious bidder, a man with millions of dollars at his fingertips.
This man had not bid at auction before, and he asked about the dynamics of the auction, what the auction process was. He said, well, he really wanted to be quite discreet about his bidding.
The mysterious bidder has never bought a rare coin before, but he wants to buy this one because of the epic and surprising story behind it. This is a coin like no other. Lusted over by presidents, kings, and billionaires. Hunted by criminal investigators. For over half a century, the double eagle was on America's most wanted list.
Yes, sir. I'm working on the progress report as we speak.
On the run, it makes a great escape. It crosses continents and oceans, seducing with its magical lure. For some, it brings fortune.
The asking price is $1.5 million.
For others, disaster.
Secret Service! Police! Put them up! Secret Service! Secret Service!
The story of the world's most amazing coin begins with one of America's most charismatic presidents, Theodore Roosevelt. 1905, the dawn of the American century, and Roosevelt is a man with an epic vision. He sees America as a champion of democracy and freedom, values symbolized by the American eagle. It's a vision he wants to express through new designs for the country's coins, the face of the nation. The coins will be made of 21-karat gold. Ever since the 1848 California gold rush, the U.S. Treasury has been awash with gold, and gold coins are now bigger, fatter, and much more valuable than ever before. But Roosevelt hates the designs of American coins. He tells his secretary they are artistically of atrocious hideousness. New designs for the $10 gold coin, the Eagle, and the $20 gold coin, the Double Eagle, become the president's pet project. The man chosen to deliver the president's vision, Augustus St. Gaudens. One of America's greatest sculptors, he is the creative genius behind many of the country's most outstanding monuments.
St. Gaudens was one of the greats of the late 19th century, early 20th century. And so it was natural, I think, for Teddy Roosevelt, who wanted our coinage to be a little bit more dramatic and beautiful than it was, to turn to somebody like St. Gaudens, who was really quite an extraordinary figure at the time.
It's a brutal race against time. St. Gaudens knows that the design of the new coins will be judged by the entire nation and reflect its global image. But the artist is dying of cancer, relying on medicine to control his pain. His first task is to create a new image of the American eagle on the reverse side of the $20 gold piece. His first design is a powerful standing eagle. But it is an eagle in flight that is ultimately chosen. An iconic symbol of freedom and national aspiration, transcendent, imperial, and magnificent. St. Gaudens delivers. His vision is glorious and immortal. Roosevelt is enraptured.
It's a total quantum leap. It has a sculptural quality. And the eagle on the back totally knocks me out. It's just a sailing against the sun. It's just a totally magnificent representation of an eagle.
His days on Earth running out, St. Gaudens tackles the image of liberty on the obverse side of the coin.
Roosevelt didn't like the staid likeness of liberty who had graced our coins for 50-odd years. He wanted something that was dramatic, that very much like Teddy was dramatic. He wanted things done. He slammed his hand on the table and he got things done.
St. Gaudens' artistic genius is about to deliver its greatest achievement. Since he's working from memory, nobody knows for sure who inspires him. A former model, a former mistress, or the dying artist's ultimate vision of love, beauty, and perfection. The result is an iconic design.
It is an extraordinary work of art that belies the size. The image of liberty with her hair whipping in the wind, the rays of the sun enlightening the world behind her. She holds the olive branch in one hand, the torch of liberty in the other. It was a tour de force. It was a work of bravura.
Shortly after finishing the new designs, St. Gaudens dies, his greatest work completed.
We had, as a nation, probably the best looking coinage of any country in the world, period. And Roosevelt started that.
In 1907, the new double eagles go into production. Low-relief versions of the gold coins are minted and released almost every year, delighting America's coin collectors, until the year 1933, when everything changes. That year, nearly 500,000 double eagles are minted. Yet, decades later, one of these 1933 gold coins will sell at auction for millions of dollars. Just how one of these double eagles could emerge out of obscurity and become the most valuable and celebrated coin on Earth is a mystery rooted in the momentous events of 1933. That year, America is in the midst of the Great Depression. To protect their savings, people buy up gold coins. The drain on the government's gold reserves is out of control. On the 4th of March 1933, a new president takes office. Teddy Roosevelt's cousin, Franklin D. Roosevelt.
And I am certain that on this day, my fellow Americans expect that on my induction into the presidency, I will address them with a candor and a...
The new president is determined to stop the drain on America's gold reserves.
This is no unsolvable problem if we face it wisely and courageously.
On his first day in office, Roosevelt orders all gold to be returned in exchange for banknotes.
I don't think there has ever been a proclamation of such great importance made in the United States by a president within the first 24 hours of his presidency. It was effectively banning private ownership of gold. And the next morning, people were lined up outside the Federal Reserve Bank in New York with bags of gold.
But someone forgets to tell the mint in Philadelphia. Despite the gold ban, the mint churns out nearly 500,000 double eagle coins before anyone in Washington notices.
These must be the new ones. 33s?
Yeah, just come in.
Some are even routinely sent to the office of the chief cashier for checking.
The weight is perfect.
Nobody had told them to stop making coins. 445,500 double eagles were perfectly legally made, but the instant they were made, they were instantly illegal to own. a wonderful paradox. Legally made, illegal to own.
The mint eventually takes action. Without ever leaving the building, the 1933 double eagles are moved into long-term storage. If any of these illegal coins ever escape, they will become a coin collector's dream. The Mint's chief cashier, George McCann, knows he must be extra vigilant.
Look, there's no room for any mistakes. Not in the weighing or the recording of the information. Do you all understand? Any discrepancy, one single coin down, and I'll know about it.
Understood, sir. We know the procedure. Have you checked the seals, Mr. Simba?
Yes, sir. Intact.
Okay.
Officials like George McCann are held personally responsible for any losses. Whenever coins are weighed or stored, they check that everyone else involved is following security procedures, including vault custodian Edward McKernan.
Please check and enter into your books, Mr. McKiernan.
If any of these 1933 double eagles go missing, the mint officials in charge of the coins will have to pay out of their own pockets.
Now tell me something, Mr. McKiernan. This sort of sloppy record-keeping is exactly what I don't want to see ever again. Do you understand?
But Mr. McCann, this is the only sheet that was a little bit raggedy.
If no one can read your illegible entries, sir, mistakes will be made. And if that happens, I'll know who to blame.
The 1933s are locked away. Their future will be decided in Washington. 9 months into the gold ban, the Treasury has paid out hundreds of millions of dollars for returned gold coins.
The government decided to melt all stocks of gold coins at every mint across the country.
Time to open up the cages. Show me your book, Mr. McKiernan.
Yes, sir.
It was a massive undertaking. It took 2.5 years to melt all these coins.
Finally, the day comes for the 1933 double eagles. Nearly 500,000 made, never circulated, and now targeted for destruction.
All the 1933 double eagles were taken, weighed, and sent into searing heat. Wonderful works of art that St. Gaudens had developed were now being turned into faceless bricks. They were born, they lived, and they died in one building in Philadelphia.
However, 2 1933 double eagles are officially preserved, sent to the Smithsonian Institution as part of America's national coin collection. The 2 coins are still there today. Except for the 2 survivors at the Smithsonian, the 1933 double eagle officially ceases to exist. But the story isn't over just yet. There's been an escape. The 1933 double eagle is about to find a place on the Secret Service's most wanted list. (1944). America is at war. War is good for business. In New York, the coin dealer Stax holds one of its regular auctions. Amazingly, it includes a 1933 double eagle, a coin that should not exist. Only 11 years after it was minted, the coin is expected to fetch 75 times its original value, $1,500 or more. If the coin is genuine, how has it escaped the smelter and the mint?
One single coin down and I'll know.
According to mint records, except for the 2 coins sent to the Smithsonian, all 1933 double eagles have been destroyed. Someone seems to have pulled off the perfect crime. The U.S. Secret Service, responsible for the security of the nation's money, is ordered to investigate. They call in one of their best men, Special Agent Harry Strang.
Sorry I'm late, sir.
Sit down, Strang. You have a reputation. You're smart. You know your way around. So impress me, Strang.
A 1933 gold double eagle coin that was supposed to have been melted down appeared at an auction. Since it was never legal tender, it must have been stolen.
And?
It's only a coin, sir. Collector's item, but still just a coin.
What are you suggesting?
The country's at war. Our casebook is full of money laundering scum, and now you're asking me to investigate a coin? How important is this? With all due respect, sir, it's only a coin.
First error, Strang. The coin has no only attached to it. It is illegal tender. You see, if the people don't trust the mint, they won't trust the money. And that's what this country was built on, money.
I understand, sir.
I want you to go out and find who stole the coin, and then we'll nail him.
Strang has no idea that his investigation is just the first chapter in a mystery that will long outlive him. Strang's task is straightforward: track down the coin and find out who stole it. His first call is the coin dealer Stax, where the mysterious double eagle is up for sale. How had it gotten there? What is the link to the mint?
Harry Strang said, well, our records show that these were all destroyed, and what you have may have been stolen from the United States government. The Stack brothers turned the coin over. They looked at it. Secret Service agents looked at it and said, well, in our opinion, it's genuine.
Strang confiscates the coin, but he learned something which will break open his investigation. The auctioneers have given him the name of a coin dealer owning another 1933 that escaped the smelter. The dealer's name is Max Berenstein. A visit to him proves successful. When Strang threatens prosecution, the agent manages to seize a second double eagle. Berenstein claims he had no idea the coin was stolen. He informs Strang that some of the biggest dealers in town also own some illegal 1933s. Thanks to the tip-off, Strang seizes 3 more coins, bringing his total up to 5. A routine investigation is now a major conspiracy. Strang isn't out to prosecute those who own the coins. He's after whoever stole them in the first place. Everything points to Philadelphia, the birthplace of the double eagles at the U.S. Mint. Strang discovers that a wealthy coin dealer in Philadelphia, James McAllister, once sold as many as 5 1933 double eagles. The trail is getting ever closer to the source.
James McAllister was a marvelous-looking man with wire-rimmed glasses, an extraordinary talent for coins, a gentleman's dealer, we will call him.
Glad to be of help, Agent Strang.
So who was the dealer who sold you the 5 1933 double eagles?
His name was Izzy Swit. He was a local jeweler.
Izzy Swit was at the heart of the Philadelphia gold trade and regularly visited the mint to sell them scrap gold.
Did you have any concerns about him?
How can I put this? You meet a lot of different types when you're buying and selling coins. This one was known as a gold coin bootlegger.
If you were so concerned about Mr. Swit, why did you buy the coins?
They were authentic and valuable, and they were rare. I'd never seen a 1933 double eagle before. It was quite a find.
I understand, but I presume you questioned Mr. Swit about his sources.
Repeatedly. At first he told me he bought the coins off of an old lady who had a relative in the Treasury Department. And then he changed that story and said that his source was a guy who had connections with the Federal Reserve Bank.
Federal Reserve Bank, are you certain about that?
Oh, yes, quite certain. Ultimately, I knew I was dealing with a man who had a certain reputation.
What do you mean?
Well, I heard that he'd been arrested some years before. Apparently he was carrying a briefcase that was suspiciously heavy, and it was found to contain gold coins.
Do you happen to know when that was?
Been sometime in '34, after it became illegal to hoard gold. And the last nail in my dealings with Mr. Swit came when he offered me more 33s. As many as I wanted.
As many as you wanted?
Yeah. Hey, he mentioned his partner, a guy by the name of Ed Silver. He said he could get all he wanted. Apparently they had 25 of these 1933 Double Eagles, and they only had sold 14.
That means there are a lot more coins out there. Thank you, sir.
McAllister's evidence has provided vital clues.
Strang here. Yes, sir. I'm working on the progress report as we speak.
All illegal coins in circulation lead back to the jeweler Izzy Swit.
Yes, that's affirmative.
He is considered one of the kings of Philadelphia's gold trade. Strang's next step, interview him. This is Jewelers Row in central Philadelphia. It's here that Izzy Swit has his shop. Swit admits to Strang that he has sold 9 Double Eagles. What Strang wants to know is where, and more importantly, who he got them from.
And you don't keep any records?
I'm a busy man. Many people come to me with all sorts of things, and I forget where they come from. But I remember my sales.
You really expect me to believe you don't remember who you bought the Double Eagles from?
Truth is, my memory is shocking.
How about James McAllister?
Of course. Regular gentleman with his cigars and fancy suits.
He says you told him you got the Double Eagles from an old lady who had family in the Treasury Department.
Did he?
Yes. And then you told him a very different story. You told him you got them from a man who worked in the Federal Reserve.
Is that what he told you?
Yes. Do you remember going into the mint?
Now you're joking with me. I've been in the business almost all my life. The mint's where I take my gold.
Who did you know there? Do you remember anybody's name?
Please, Mr. Strang, I'm not completely without wits. I dealt with Jack Pepper, who was in the receiving department.
Anybody else?
Robert Graham. But he's retired now. In fact, this is his watch. Something wrong with the timing mechanism. You know, the slightest change in the way...
Anybody else?
No. Nobody. Absolutely not.
Strang is suspicious. Every single illegal coin he has detected leads back to Izzy Swit, but the Philadelphia jeweler claims he can't shed light on who he got them from. Strang suspects Swit bought them from a mint employee, but Swit's contacts at the mint had no direct access to the 1933 Double Eagles. There must have been someone else who Swit was dealing with. Strang has to go back to the beginning. Who had access to the 33s?
This sort of sloppy record keeping is something I don't ever want to see, ever again.
One obvious suspect, vault custodian Edward McKernan, now retired. For years, he had access to the vault where the bags of 1933 Double Eagles were kept. But when the coins were weighed on the way to the smelter, no discrepancies were detected. But Strang's next interrogation will finally break open the case. He pays a visit to someone who'd spent years handling bags of Double Eagles, mint worker Alexander Zimba.
So what you're saying is the bags were so heavy that you kept your eyes shut while you moved them around. Or maybe you were helping yourself to the Double Eagles.
I never took anything. I never saw anything. I told you.
Why should I believe you? How can I believe you? You work here for 3 years and coins just disappear into thin air like magic.
I don't want to say anything out of the way or get anybody in trouble. And I never actually saw anybody take a coin.
You know, I don't think you did it. But I think you know or suspect who did.
There was a guy we all called the magician. He always used to do the same thing. Every time he got a consignment in, he'd open it up, and it wasn't necessary. He liked to run his fingers over the gold. Run his fingers over the gold.
So who is the magician? None other than the vigilant cashier, George McCann.
Any discrepancies, one single coin down, and I'll know about it.
McCann no longer works at the Mint, having left to take a job in real estate.
I really don't have a lot of time. I got some clients I need to talk to.
I'm sure we can clear this up, Mr. McCann. I've just got a couple of questions, starting with the procedure for moving the gold coins and the security around them.
What do you want to know?
In a nutshell, who had access?
Well, the box with the coins was always in the custody of the vault custodian. He was the only one with the key.
Go on. What happened to the coins after they came into the Mint?
Well, they were put into the gold coin stock of Vault F. The vault custodian and his assistant were the only ones with access.
McKernan was the vault custodian?
Yeah.
And Mr. Breedy was his assistant?
Yeah, but he's dead.
So you never handled the distribution of the coins after they came into the Mint?
I didn't handle them at all. It wasn't my job. It was McKieran's job to shift the coins around. Him and Breedy could get into the vault whenever they damn well pleased.
Okay.
Why don't you just get off my back and go talk to them? I have a job I have to get back to.
Fine. Understood. Just one last question. Did you know or had you ever heard of Israel Swit?
Swit? Yeah, Swit. Yeah, I've heard of him. He's one of those dealers who is always in and out of the Mint with his lousy bag of scrap gold.
And you didn't know him personally?
No.
You sure about that?
Yes.
I know you want to get back to your clients, but I'd like to fix another meeting.
But I've told you everything.
Soon.
Well, I'll check my schedule, I'll give my attorney a call. See if he can join us.
I look forward to that.
But the attorney won't allow McCann to be interviewed again on the grounds of his client's alleged ill health. But even without another interview, the evidence against the former cashier is mounting. Strang discovers unexplained payments into McCann's bank account in 1936, amounting to $10,000, 5 times McCann's annual salary. What's more, the payments match withdrawals by Izzy Swit's business partner. Then, the kicker. Just 4 years after the 1933 Double Eagles were stolen, McCann was caught stealing miscellaneous coins from the Mint. He was found guilty and served a year in prison. McCann has become the #1 suspect. But how did he do it? As chief cashier, he had unsupervised access to 1933 Double Eagles in his vault. All he had to do was swap out 1933s for other coins of the same weight. Nobody would notice, since the coins were weighed but never examined on the way to the smelter. It was a perfect opportunity for the perfect crime. Strang concludes that McCann was in cahoots with Izzy Swit.
You really expect me to believe you don't remember who you bought the Double Eagles from?
Truth is, my memory is shocking.
It's almost a year since the investigation began. Strang is convinced he has identified George McCann as the thief and Izzy Swit as his accomplice. But Agent Strang is in for a shock.
So are you going to prosecute?
Afraid not. Strictly speaking, we can't get to McCann or Swit. The statute of limitations means it's too late to prosecute them.
But sir, all that evidence and they just walk? How can people trust the Mint if the man in charge of the money helps himself to the gold?
Strang, I know you've put the time in. You want a conviction. But this time, our hands may be tied.
What was the point of even trying to nail them in the first place? I was better off trying to bust racketeers. Sorry, sir.
You've done good work, Strang. And you know what? I don't think the story's over yet.
Strang is frustrated. His suspects have gone free. Thanks to his investigation, 9 coins will be retrieved and destroyed. But as the Secret Service has recently discovered, a 10th coin has escaped beyond the reaches of the law. A lone survivor that will one day be worth millions. The escape of this single coin starts with a bureaucratic blunder in Washington. March 1944.
Oh, Mr. Fahim, nice to see you again.
1 week before Strang's investigation,
Here's your coin.
the Treasury grants a standard export license for a foreign coin collector.
And here's your export license.
But this license is for a coin that shouldn't exist, the 1933 Double Eagle. The officials have no idea that the coin is illegal. This single Double Eagle has managed to escape beyond the smelter and the grasp of the Secret Service. It is whisked away over thousands of miles to the land of the pharaohs. The coin's new owner is King Farouk of Egypt, one of the world's biggest coin collectors.
He was the playboy king of all time. He collected antique pill bottles, antique razor blades. He had one of the great collections of stamps which had been started by his father. He had Fabergé eggs. He had a collection of pornography that was rumored to be of such importance that the British Museum wanted it. And oh yes, he had a coin collection.
The exceptionally rare 1933 Double Eagle has become one of Farouk's most prized possessions. But the U.S. Treasury, after realizing its mistake in granting the export license, now wants the coin back.
Aboard comes King Farouk of Egypt. The President extends greetings.
But King Farouk is an important ally of the United States, and so no attempt is made by the U.S. government to recover the coin. But in Egypt, Farouk is hated for his extravagance and greed. He spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on his mistresses and millions in casinos.
Martial law comes to Egypt in the wake of bloody riots that turn the land of the pharaohs into a flaming trouble spot. Ismailia becomes the storm.
The army, the power behind the throne, is turning against its king. In 1952, Farouk is overthrown. The new revolutionary government wants to expose the king's extravagance. It decides to sell off Farouk's treasures in a public auction. Among the many precious items for sale is Farouk's 1933 Double Eagle, the same one that received an export license. The U.S. government spots an opportunity to get the Double Eagle back and demands its return. The Egyptians remove it from the auction, but then the coin's trail goes cold.
Diplomatic chatter went back and forth following the sale to get the coin back, but slowly but surely, interest seems to have died out, and the paper trail goes dead. And in 1954, the 1933 Double Eagle from Farouk's collection simply goes away, probably sitting in some vault somewhere in Cairo.
Once again, the 1933 Double Eagle has slipped away. London, 1995. 40 years have passed and the British coin dealer Stephen Fenton gets an offer.
Speaking.
An Egyptian jeweler has a 1933 Double Eagle for sale.
I would be very interested.
The Egyptian jeweler has recently moved the coin from Cairo to a safe deposit box in London, where Fenton can see it. The jeweler claims the coin was part of the Farouk collection, but is it genuine?
Extraordinary.
And what exactly does Fenton know about the illegal status of the world's most elusive coin? The first time a 33 appeared at auction in New York 52 years ago, the estimated price was about $1,500. Fenton will need a lot more than that. He delves deep into his pocket and manages to buy the coin for $220,000. A shrewd businessman, he hopes to sell it on the other side of the Atlantic for a profit of over $500,000. It's a dangerous game. Anyone caught dealing with stolen U.S. government property risks years in prison.
Fenton got in touch with an American dealer, a man called Jay Perino, who Fenton had never really met, but he knew his reputation. And Jay Perino, who ran a company called The Mint, was the biggest buyer in the 1990s by far.
So, what exactly are you selling? I have a 1933 Double Eagle in excellent condition.
Would you be interested?
I would, yes. I think I have a buyer for you.
For years, there have been rumors about 1933 Double Eagles. For serious coin dealers like Perino, the offer of buying one is too good to be missed.
I would. Excellent. Look forward to it.
Especially since he already has a buyer lined up. The man he has in mind is Jack Moore. He's a coin enthusiast, buying on behalf of a millionaire collector obsessed with Double Eagles.
Hello.
Hi, Jack. Yeah, it's Jay Perino.
Jay, it's been a while.
I have that coin you've been looking for.
Oh, yeah?
I have a rock-solid lead on a 1933 Double Eagle.
Sure about that?
It surfaced in Europe.
Interesting.
So are you in?
Might be.
The asking price is $1.5 million.
You are kidding. I think about half that amount.
Okay. I'll make a call to the seller and I'll get back to you.
Perino is hopeful. In the past, he's made a lot of money selling coins to Moore and his client. The coin he's now offering could deliver the most lucrative deal of his life.
What Perino didn't know is that Jack Moore held a personal grudge against Jay Perino for some deal gone south.
Perino is about to be set up. Moore decides to use the sale of the 1933 Double Eagle to exact revenge on Perino. He knows that the coin is illegal and contacts the Secret Service. The Secret Service tells Moore to go ahead with the deal. The Double Eagle is still on America's most wanted list. The deal will have to take place in the United States so that federal agents can seize the coin. The following conversations are taken directly from Secret Service transcripts.
This is Jack.
Hi, Jack.
You haven't called me back. I assume you haven't heard anything back about the price?
We're working on it.
The price is agreeable?
Well, I don't know. All I said to them was we'd like to buy it a little cheaper, but the problem is getting it there.
Getting it here, you mean?
For a sting to work, the coin has to be on U.S. territory. Moore has to convince Perino that the seller needs to do the deal in America.
I don't know if I can get my person to go overseas or not.
Well?
I know he wants to buy the coin.
Oh, yeah?
And he's got the money.
Well, let me give him a call and,
I'll see.
Moore finally agrees to Perino's asking price of $1.5 million as long as the deal goes down in the U.S. February 1996. After months of negotiation, a meeting is scheduled in New York. One of the biggest coin deals ever is about to go down. But this is a game where everybody has their own agenda, where nothing is quite as it seems. London coin dealer Stephen Fenton flies to New York on the Concorde. He meets up with his cousin, there for moral support. Fenton's carrying a single coin worth over $1 million. It's homecoming day for the Double Eagle. It's the first time that Fenton and Perino meet in person. They have no idea what they're about to walk into. Expecting a profit of $530,000, Stephen Fenton is confident. What he doesn't know is that Jay Perino stands to make even more. $600,000 for the American dealer.
Hi, Jack.
Jay, howdy. Hey, how you doing?
Thank you.
Jack Moore's role as a Secret Service informant is to help verify the coin and get the deal in motion. The Secret Service believes that if Fenton actually sells the coin, it's a bigger crime.
So I got a little deal here.
As a first step of verifying that the coin is genuine, Moore has been instructed to check that it has the correct weight for a double eagle,
Do you do the authenticating?
34 grams.
I suppose we can. Well, let me get the coin out.
You understand, I just want to look at the coin. After that, I'm going to call the buyer and his expert and ask them to come up.
Do you want me to put it on there?
Yeah, lay it on the scale. Go ahead.
The weight is correct. As a piece of gold, it is worth less than $1,000.
Now, can I look at it?
Of course.
As a 1933 double eagle, it could be worth millions.
I think you can make your call to your buyer now.
The buyer will be accompanied by a coin expert.
I'm just soaking it in.
Hi, guys. Time to come up.
But the buyer and his expert are federal undercover agents. Their task is to confirm that the coin is genuine.
This is the buyer.
Gentlemen, how are you?
This is the expert. This is the coin.
With a look, the agent signals this is the real deal. It's half a century since the Strang investigation. Now, the Secret Service has another 1933 double eagle in its sights.
My expert's happy, so I'm happy.
The secret cue has been given.
Well, we can wire you the money.
Of course.
Please! Secret Service! Secret Service!
The operation is a complete success. The trap was sprung and everyone was caught. The men are taken away for questioning. Fenton faces 10 years in prison for handling and attempting to sell stolen government property. He has no idea that he's the first person to face charges relating to a crime committed 70 years earlier.
Hey, that was great. Well done. That was wonderful.
It's a moment of triumph, especially for Jack Moore. He has managed to pull off the sting and his ego is flying. The agents are thrilled. The elusive 1933 double eagle is back in government custody. And that's where the story might have ended. But Fenton isn't finished. He hires a lawyer who successfully argues that his client had been unaware of the coin's illegal status. Soon the criminal charges against him have to be dropped, and he returns to England. Encouraged, Fenton now presses the U.S. government for the return of his prized double eagle. The government is forced to defend its position in court, represented by U.S. Attorney Jane Levine.
The mainstay of the government's case was the contention that no $20 gold pieces with the stamp 1933 were ever released into the public as currency. They never legally left the mint. And in addition, the Secret Service's investigation in the 1940s led to evidence that some 1933 double eagles were stolen from the mint by the cashier who was in charge of the till at the time.
Fenton's lawyer counters that this double eagle is special. This was the coin that got an export license to go to Egypt and King Farouk. He argues that the license, a legal document, established the coin's legal status. Thanks to a mistake by the U.S. Treasury 60 years ago, this 33 double eagle could be legally bought and sold.
It came down to, would the export license carry the day for the defense? But there were no live witnesses who could really shed much light on this matter.
And the export license does carry the day. Fenton and the government agree on an out-of-court settlement.
The coin, as part of the settlement, was in fact returned to the mint and was declared to be government property. The mint also agreed to put the coin up for auction, and the proceeds would be split. And so the government would recover half, and Fenton would recover the other half.
(2002), Sotheby's auction house in New York. No coin has ever attracted so much attention, so much publicity, and so many millionaires.
You want as many people as possible to be bidding. It creates much more excitement. It's, 2 people are wonderful, but 5 are better, and 10 are even far better. And the wild cards were the people who were not the coin collectors.
And one man who has never bid for a coin before has decided to make a play for the double eagle.
I did get a phone call from a gentleman who I'd not dealt with before, who said that he would like to come to the auction. He said, well, he really wanted to be quite discreet about his bidding. This man had not bid at auction before, and he asked how about the dynamics of the auction, what the auction process was. And I sort of gave him the cadence, what it would feel like. The bidding would go, 2 million, 2.1 million, 2.2 million, 2.3 million. I had no idea really how far he was going to bid. I thought maybe, sort of the lower millions, but like a number of other people, it was important to have him as well as others in the fray. On my right, $2,500,000, $2,600,000. $2,700,000 on the telephone, at $3,200,000, second row, at $4 million.
Out of sight from the public, the mysterious bidder makes his bids on the telephone through a member of staff to the left of the auctioneer.
Telephone again, at $5,100,000 in the center back. $6 million on my left. $6,100,000. $6,200,000. $6,500,000 now. Thank you. $6,600,000 on the left. Fair warning at $6,600,000.
The mysterious bidder has won, paying the highest price ever for a coin.
The buyer of the coin said, look, I want this coin publicly exhibited. I don't want to take it home with me. I don't want to put it in a bank vault. I want it to be out there where people can see it.
The buyer, who remains anonymous, has never touched his double eagle. It's now on display in the coin exhibition of the Federal Reserve Bank in New York. The total price including commission is $7,590,000, plus its original price of $20 to make it legal tender.
And again, that's the end of the story. All accounted for. Well, not really.
There is one unresolved claim from Agent Strang's investigation 60 years earlier. The coin dealer James McAllister said Izzy Swit had told him that his partner could obtain even more of the 1933 coins.
Apparently they had 25 of these 1933 double eagles, and they only had sold 14.
That means there are a lot more coins out there.
In 2004, the family of the late Izzy Swit contacts the Mint. They ask it to verify 10 coins found in the estate of the Philadelphia jeweler. They all turn out to be 1933 double eagles.
But I called up the buyer of the 1933, and I said, look, I just want you to know that 10 more have been discovered. And he said, does that mean I have to buy those too? I thought, what a wonderful answer.
This has to be the most interesting case I've worked on, just because the story, the facts behind it are so rich. The underlying factual background of this case spanned from 1930 up through the present and involved everything from a theft from the mint in the 30s to an auction in Cairo in the 50s, through a sting operation in the Waldorf Astoria in the 1990s. The richness of the factual story is something I never imagined that I'd deal with.
The government confiscates the coins. Izzy Swit's descendants are suing for their return. If they win, they'll gain immense wealth. But the value of the Farouk coin could go down. If they lose, its value may soar. Whatever happens, the story of this coin defies the imagination. From the lofty aspirations of Teddy Roosevelt to the creative genius of St. Gaudens, from the unparalleled greed of an Egyptian king to a sting by the Secret Service, a story worth $7.5 million. But there is another sting in the tale. Strang was told that Swit had handled 25 1933 double eagles, 20 of which are now accounted for. That means that another 5 may be at large. The world's most valuable and elusive coin still has a few more mysteries to reveal.